What is going on? What's going on, everyone? Coach Derica here, coming before you with another live video. I want to make sure that I am actually live. Why do I not see my video? There I am. All righty. Give me just one moment here. All right. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I promise I'm coming. Just a second. I don't hear myself. Oh, there I am. Okay. I didn't want to start talking if I didn't hear myself. All right. So hopefully you guys are having an awesome Tuesday. I think this is Tuesday. Yeah, I think this is Tuesday. Yes, because trash day is tomorrow. And I have to get on my son and make sure he gets the trash to the curb. That's like a weekly thing. Have to do it. Can y'all relate? Nonetheless, just got off of another awesome training. This was a skill set training tonight with my millionaire mentors, Tanisha Graham. If you guys are not taking those classes, you really need to get on those classes. They're just $10. They could be a lot more, but you really need to get on those classes. If you know that something is missing from your life and you know that you are trying to get to the next level, you need to get on those classes. I will put the link in the comments if you are interested in taking advantage of that opportunity while the opportunity is there. Because trust me, there's going to be a time where she is not going to be available for $10 classes. Okay. Shell says right there, class was fire. So look, you guys, I kind of want to jump into it tonight. My title says Fight for Your Life. And a lot of you guys can probably relate. A lot of us feel like we've probably been doing that all of our life, whether it's been physically, financially, emotionally, mentally. We feel like we've been fighting for our life pretty much ever since we became old enough to even understand what that meant. And I think for me, a lot of times, they often say people are scared of success. People are scared of success. I don't think for me that I ever have been really scared of success, but for me, I think my fear came from the what if. So, what if I get successful? What if I become successful? Will I know what to do with it? How will I handle it? But not receiving the success, not getting the success hasn't been a fear. It's what to do with it once I get it. And I think for me it's been because I've seen people, get to a certain level of success, promotions and all these different things and then lose it. And I've seen it more times than I can count, whether it's been in family, whether it's been friends, whether it's been even myself, and somewhere somehow that planted a seed that success is something that cannot be maintained. Success is something that you can't hold on to. It's something that is only a temporary state. There's a loss that is typically following having success. And for me, I think I based that too off of my life, off of my history as well too, is being able and coming home and be like, okay, hey, I got all A's, but I got this C, right? Feeling successful, feeling like I've accomplished something, but then getting in trouble for the C. My dad, I've talked about before, very critical person, very critical person. It took me a lot to be able to get to the point where I actually can freely talk about these things, because there was a period of time where I could not talk about these things. And as I began to talk about it, I understood that there's a lot of people that actually could relate to that and couldn't figure out what the problem was or what the issue was. And so when I actually began to allow these things to be revealed to me, in desiring and searching for a deeper relationship with God, I began to understand some of the things that made me tick, some of the ways that I thought about things, some of the ways that I broke things down, how I would actually, I talked about my filtering process before, how I would filter things out until I came to the conclusion. And then when I finally realized that the conclusion was not a true conclusion, it was actually a false conclusion. And I love getting on these trainings that I just got off of, because it's so refreshing to be able to hear these things broken down in such a clear form that really kind of takes the puzzles and puts them together so they're in alignment. And it just kind of helps you to finish the thought. It kind of helps you to finish the thought. And that's why I feel like it's so important to be able to have people in your life that can help you to finish your thought. Because a lot of times you'll have the thought, you'll have the understanding, you'll have pieces of it, but you're not able to finish the thought. And so for me, whenever I'm able to have that time, with my millionaire mentors, Denicia, I'm able to get that clarity to be able to finish the thought. And I think for a lot of times in my life, I've always had an understanding about different things, but I was not able to finish the thought. It was the process I couldn't figure out. And so because I felt like I was always trying to figure out the finishing product of the thought or put the puzzle together, it would cause me to become stagnant because I'd get so stuck in my head that I couldn't even move forward. And so where I'm at right now, I'm at a point now where I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life, but the battle is against myself. The battle is against myself. Whereas before, the battle was against everyone else, right? Trying to prove myself to everyone else. But now the battle is against myself. I actually say here today, and some people may say, "Oh, well, that's no good." Actually, for me, it's a step in the right direction. For me, it's progress. For me, it's showing that I've come further. I'm not where I was. I'm not quite where I'm going, but I'm not where I was. So I know that I'm making forward progress because now my biggest enemy is actually me. My biggest enemy is myself. So I cannot remember all the R's, so I'm not going to go into it. But there was a time, I think it was probably at least a year ago, where I was on a training with my mentor, and she was talking about the 3 R's. And one of those R's was revenge. And for me, when I think about one of those R's, revenge, for me, my revenge is against myself because I know that because of my beliefs, because of my mindset, because of my subconscious mind, because of my way of thinking, because of my programming, I have always been my own worst critic and I've always been my own worst enemy. So I could talk myself out of something very quickly, or I could mentally criticize myself so bad to the point where I would end up feeling so doubtful. I would end up feeling so discouraged. I would end up feeling so overwhelmed that I wouldn't even do it. I would just say, forget it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to stay here in my comfort zone. I'm going to stay here in my bubble, and I'm just not going to do anything. And even though that still didn't make me feel good, because the thing that I did do was stay in my head. So I was doing something. I just wasn't physically moving. I was just stuck in my head. And so for so many years, that's what I was doing. I would resort to staying stuck in my head, trying to figure out how to get around this puzzle, because I couldn't figure out how to put the puzzle into the missing piece, but I wanted to find a way to get around it. But it wasn't until I understood that there really was no way to get around it. Because even when I thought I found a shortcut, or if I thought I found a way of going around the issues, going around the problems, I would always find myself maybe a step forward, but still, here comes them same old problems. Here comes them same old problems. So where it seems like I was making forward progression, I would make forward progression and then I would pause. I couldn't go no further because I was still dealing with the same stuff that was holding me back before. So it was almost like I was like, say I had a rubber band on me. Okay, imagine having a rubber band on you and you're tugging and you're trying to resistance bands. Okay, a lot of us like to work out. So if you had resistance bands on you and you had someone behind you that's pulling you back, but you're trying to walk forward. All right. So for me, it's like I'm able to get forward, but because of that stuff that I tried to go around, and for a small period of time, I was able to go around it because I was able to to compartmentalize it in my head and feel like it never existed and act like it never existed and seem like it never existed. But then what would happen is something would happen and it would remind me, or it would pull me backwards. And so here I am, all that forward progression that I made, now I'm leaving it and I'm being yanked right back to where I started from. So it was when I got to a point where I decided that I was tired of that I didn't want to do that anymore, that I didn't want to be one of those stories that are still trying to figure it out, on my deathbed. I wanted to be, I made a decision that whatever it was that I needed to do, whatever it was that I needed to sacrifice, whatever it was that I needed to learn, I was going to do it no matter how much it hurt, no matter how much I had to cry, no matter how much I had to scream, no matter how much I had to yell, no matter how much I had to get over myself. I made a decision that in order for me to be the best version of Derica, I had to be willing to allow God to put those pieces in their place. I could not no longer go around the pain. I could not no longer go around the suffering. I had to go through it. But what happens is that a lot of times when we make a decision that we're strong enough to go through something, we're really not learning anything because we're trying to go through it as quickly as possible with our eyes closed. But what I also had to realize, I made the decision to go through it. So now I'm not going to go around it. I'm not going to go under it. I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to go through it. But what was happening even with that step, because I thought I was doing something, was that I was only going through it, which means I was going to go through it again. I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything. I just allowed myself to feel it more. Okay. So then when I finally made the decision, okay, instead of me going through it, I'm going to grow through it, which means I'm going to stop for a moment. I'm not going to rush this thing. I want to actually hear God clearly. I want to see what mistakes did I make before that caused me to keep having to go through these same type of scenarios. What is it that I need to change, and what is it that needs to be changed? And I need to allow God to change in order for me to be able to learn this lesson so I don't have to keep repeating it. And so when you get to the point where you're not scared of a little bit of pain, or you're not scared of a little bit of sacrifice, or you're not scared of a little bit of suffering, you get in that point where now you put your fist up and you're fighting for your life. And you're fighting for your life to the point where you're not stressed. Okay, you're not overwhelmed, you're not burdened, you're not in all these other types of emotional ways that bother people. You're actually okay. You're actually okay. A lot of people would never really guess that I'm going through some of the things that I'm going through, but I'm actually growing through it, because in the point that I'm at right now, in this season that I'm in right now, I'm actually learning a lot about myself. But I'm not only learning a lot about myself, I'm learning a lot about God. And that is what is important when you make a decision to decide to grow through things. You have to be willing to learn a lot about God and learn a lot about yourself. Because when you start to slow down and allow God to move you at his pace and progress you at his pace, and bless you with the things in your life that he wants to bless you with, you'll find that your desires also begin to change too. So for me, I always was focused on, well, let me get to this money. I want to get to this money. What I got to do to get to this money. But then I also realized that, you know what? All that stuff comes. All that stuff comes. But there's some things that I need to do in the process. And I wasn't trusting the process enough to realize that as I begin to develop a deeper relationship with God, and as I begin to get to know him more and more and more, and desire to know him more, and diligently seeking him, my desires actually begin to change. And when my desires actually begin to change, I actually started to desire more of what he wanted for me. So then there were certain things that maybe I didn't have that I had before, that I wasn't actually stressed out as much about. I was actually okay. I was actually realizing that, wow, God really does got me. He really is carrying me through this. It feels like I'm floating through this whole entire process, but during the process, I'm developing the faith. During the process, I'm developing the trust. During the process, I'm actually developing a renewed sense of understanding of myself a renewed sense of understanding of my purpose, a renewed sense of understanding of the type of God that I serve. Because there was a period of time that I thought that I served a God that really only punished. I really thought that I served a God that just brought the hammer down. If I did something wrong, I could expect to be punished. That was the type of understanding that I had. Now, granted, of course, consciously, I knew God is a loving God and he does all these things for the people, for his people, his children. I knew all that. Yeah, I knew it, but I didn't really believe it. I didn't really believe it. And because I didn't believe it, I wasn't able to receive it. And because I wasn't able to receive it, I wasn't able to apply it in my life. And hopefully that makes sense. I wasn't able to apply it because I was missing the pieces to the puzzle. And one thing that I've realized is that it's when you're in different seasons, the ones that we try to rush out of, the ones that we try to go around, the ones that we try to go under, the ones that we try to go over, the ones that we try to just go through instead of grow through. That's where you actually get the development at. That's where you actually learn who you are at. That's where you actually understand what God is really trying to do in your life. That's when you're actually able to slow down and really hear from God. And I mean, really hear from God, because now your focus is on him and not all the cares of the world. And then you find yourself being able to go through life and do the things that you need to do, the things that you have to do. You're not scared to be tired. You're not scared to stand up for what you want. You're not scared to stand up for what you believe in. You feel like you have more confidence. You feel like you have more courage. You feel like you have more strength. You feel like you have more energy. You just do it. Like Nike, you just do it. When I wake up in the morning, I already know I'm grateful. I'm grateful for waking up in the morning. And I think we take that for granted because there's a lot of people who didn't wake up this morning. But when I wake up in the morning, I automatically know. God, give me the strength to get through the day, because I know there's a lot of stuff I need to get done today. There's a lot of stuff I need to get done. There's a lot of stuff I want to get done. We actually have a really good dialogue. Like, you may think I'm crazy, but I really am enjoying discovering this new relationship that I'm developing with God. And I hope that you understand when you go through valleys. I hope you understand that when you go through certain seasons and certain trials and certain tribulations, that it doesn't have to be all bad. It doesn't have to be about punishment. It doesn't have to be about, unbearable suffering. Not everybody has to have a Job story or a Job testimony. Okay? Sometimes God just needs a little bit of time with you so that he's able to develop you, so that he's able to refine you, so that he's able to purify you. And so you can see who you are. And so you can see what you are and see what you are capable of. And also begin to understand what joy really is, and understand that your joy actually comes from him. There's a difference between joy and happiness. And I didn't really understand that. I've heard it before, but I didn't really understand what joy and happiness really, really meant. And a lot of times I feel like I gave away my joy because of the fact that I really didn't understand how important it was to have joy. Because see, joy is going to keep you when you're not feeling so good. The joy you have in God. Joy is going to keep you when you're having a bad day, because see, it's because of that joy that you have for God that you're able to say, you know what, God, in spite of, I'm still going to praise your name. In spite of, you're still a good God. In spite of, I still love you. In spite of, I'm still going to spend this time with you. In spite of, you're still worthy. And I didn't understand the difference between that, because see, happy sometimes I feel from what I've seen can be a tangible thing. I have $1 million today, so I'm happy. But tomorrow, if I don't have $1 million, then I'm depressed. So a lot of times, happy for me has been based off of my emotions. And I base it off of how I felt. Okay, I woke up and I got a headache, so today I'm not happy. Or, I stubbed my toe, so now my whole day's ruined. I'm just not happy today. And I've gotten to a point now where I find it very, very important for me to continue to fight every day for my life. And it's a constant battle against myself. And you're probably in a battle against yourself as well, too. But I want to tell you, don't give up. Every single day, you have to put forth the effort to fight for your life, because every single day, the enemy is going to try to get you to give up. The enemy is going to try to get you to turn around and go the other way. The enemy is going to try to get you to start climbing that mountain backwards. The enemy is going to try to get you to make you feel like you can't do it on your own. There's nothing wrong with having your alone time and solidarity with God and things like that, but you need people. You need people. You do. You need people to, and the thing is that a lot of times we have such a need. We feel like we have such a need for people that we allow people in our life that aren't supposed to be there. That's a problem too. That's a whole nother conversation. I've even talked about it before. So when it comes to needing people, you need the right people. So let me say that you need the right people, because the wrong people will take you wrong places and cause you to have to suffer the wrong consequences. I don't want to suffer your consequences, only mine. I only want to endure what my own hard-headedness has had to endure. I don't want to endure yours too. Mine is just enough. My fight for my life is good enough. It's good enough. Stop taking battles on that don't have your name on it. Stop taking on battles that don't have your name on it. Stop taking on responsibilities that you're not supposed to take on. It was a hard lesson for me to understand that I can only put so much on my plate. I can only put so many bags in my hand. Okay. I used to be the bag lady, like literally. Literally. I've been doing this all my life. When I was younger, that's what my mom used to call me, the bag lady. I literally used to go around and I would gather up things that I felt people needed or would miss, and I would gather up the things and I would put them safely in a bag. So then when they was looking for them, I had them for them. Here you go. You're looking for your keys? I have them for you. I protected it for you. Here you go. What else do you need? I always felt like I needed to be the one. Okay, I got you. By the way, this is some great coconut water. I got you. I'm good. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to your stuff for safekeeping, for safekeeping. But then when I finally realized I'm so busy holding on to everybody else's mess, who's holding on to mine? I had no room for my own stuff. And so now here I am at 44 years old, realizing that, man, I have a lot of work to do. I mean, I actually realized this before 44 because I just turned 44. But I had a lot of work to do and still have work to do. But I'm not where I was. I've made significant progress. Significant progress. I heard Stanicia say tonight on training about having interest in ourself. And I think that is such a powerful, powerful statement, because for so many years, I really wasn't interested in myself. I was more interested in helping other people and focusing on other people's problems and helping them put their pieces together. I could see the problem for other people. I could see it very clearly. But then when it came to me, I couldn't focus enough or hear enough or even want to see enough to allow God to put those pieces in for me. But I could tell somebody else what their problem was. This is what's wrong with you. This is what you're missing. I could do that. And boop, I'd be right. I'd be right. And some people appreciated that and some people couldn't stand it. And that's the way it's been. So I had to realize that it was time for me to start to unpack my baggage. I had to start unpacking my baggage and giving people their stuff back. That's for you. That's yours. Oh, hold on. This is yours too, because this ain't even mine. I don't even know where this came from. No, nope, that's not mine. Nope, that's yours. And so one thing I want you to understand as well too that I learned is that if your assignment is helping people, you have to learn how to help them with their issue, whatever it is that you're assigned to do for them. But understand you're not God, okay? But you have to learn how to release that. You can't hold on to that. You can't live that. You can't own that. And I didn't know how to do that. I knew how to, like, I literally could hear about someone's sorrows and pain, and I literally could feel it. I literally could feel it. And I used to feel bad or guilty for that because I felt like, how can I feel this way when I'm not even going through that? Like, that's what they're going through. But I feel it. I feel so bad. Like, my heart hurts. I got a headache. You know what I mean? My heart rate doesn't, but I like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm going through this. And it's hard when you are that type of person that is very sensitive to people's feelings and people's struggles and the things that they're going through, because you want to reach out and you want to solve it for them. You want to take the pain away. You want to fix it for them. And sometimes it makes you angry when they won't let you. When they won't let you. Sound kind of crazy, right? Story of my life. But I had to understand that I can't own, even if my assignment, and it is, my assignment is to help people to get to certain points. Again, knowing I'm not God, but help people to get to certain points. I have to learn how to let it go once I've done what I've been called to do. And that was hard for me to do that. I didn't know how to do that. I tried to hold on to it longer than I was supposed to. See, we all have certain seasons that we play in people's lives. Some seasons is longer than others with certain people. Some seasons are just for a season, and then it's time to move on. You may be only supposed to play a part in someone's life for a season. But because you won't let it go or let them go, and you keep trying to hold on to it when God is not clearly directing you that that person is supposed to, that person is assigned to you, then you end up causing more damage than you do good. And it was hard for me to release. It was hard for me to release. So I see like a wounded bird, and I want to nurture the bird. I want to heal the bird. I want to help the bird. I want to make sure the bird is good. And now, okay, the bird is good. His wings moving. He's ready to fly and take off, but I don't quite want him to take off yet. Let me keep nurturing you. Let me keep mothering you. Let me keep doing these things. And I had to realize that I can't own a person's problem. So if your assignment is to help people, you have to understand that you help them, okay, according to how you feel convicted to help them, according to what your assignment is. But you can't own what they're going through. You can't own what they're going through. And I will tell you, it's hard for you to know when you're owning it and when you're not, if you haven't taken time to do your own healing. If you haven't taken time to really, as Denicia said on training, to show interest and really get to know yourself. If you haven't taken time to really get to know yourself, it's going to be hard for you to be able to hear and have discernment and understand when it's time for you to back up. Because the thing is that backing up off of someone, walking away from someone, it's not always a bad scenario. It doesn't always have to be a bad outcome or a bad ending. But knowing when to take your hand off of someone, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's hard. Most of the times it's hard. But you have to understand, when God tells you to move, you have to be willing to move, even if you don't understand why, or even if you don't understand like for how long, or even if you don't understand the reasoning behind, or like I said, the why. I mean, period. Even if you don't understand the why, you still have to be willing to move when he says move. And that was a hard thing for me to do. And that's why for so many years of my life, I would always try to fix people's problems, but I would also own their problems. So their problems would become mine. And so I found myself attracting people in relationship, okay? I would attract these type of men, for instance, that had these type of needs, okay? And I would end up being their nurse. I would be their nurse instead of their woman. I would be their nurse, because I'm sitting here trying to heal their fractured heart. I'm sitting here trying to fix their broken heart, their broken mind, their mindset, all of that. I'm sitting here trying to be their nurse. But what I had to understand is that it's very possible that these men or whatever, it wasn't my job to be in a relationship with them. It was my job maybe to pray for them. It may have been my job just to, hey, be a friend, purely platonic. And so you have to be very careful when you start taking on other people's problems if you ain't dealt with your own problems, because you're not going to know how to separate them. You're not going to know what your role is in that relationship, any relationship. You're not going to know, because you can't separate your problems from their problems, because they all end up running congruent. Now you guys is codependent on one another. Why you think that people who have similar type of issues attract other people with similar type of issues? And you come together, whether it's a friendship or relationship, and now you both toxic together. Toxic together. So you have to be very careful. They say opposites attract for a reason. Opposites attract for a reason, because the things that maybe I need room for growth in, you should be strong in. In the areas you have room for growth in, I should be strong in. That's how opposites attract. But when opposites don't track and the same attract, that can be very toxic and hazardous. And that was something that I had to learn. And the thing that I had to do to learn that is I had to stop getting in relationship, any relationship, any relationship. And I had to start having a relationship first with God, and I had to start having a relationship with myself. I had to start having a relationship with myself. And then I began to find out the things I thought I didn't like, I actually like. The things I thought I liked, I really don't like. The places that I used to go, I really don't like to go. And the places I thought I didn't want to go, I actually want to go. That's so peculiar to me when I begin to really understand. It's even the same thing with my hair. I started this whole cut my hair thing, and I've cut my hair in the past, true, but I always have just felt like, I just needed to do the long hair. I just felt more confident with the long hair. But now, where I'm at now, because and the thing is that I always felt like I liked long hair. Okay, because that's just my programming. I felt like I needed to have the long hair. Maybe it was society, maybe it was who I was in relationship with, or who I was around. I don't know. Could be a combination of all of them. But then I realized that once I really started getting in relationship with myself, I started to realize I really don't like the responsibility of having long hair. I really don't. I really don't. I actually really love my red tapered hair. Like, I really do. Like, I need another haircut now, because that's the thing. My hair grows so daggone fast. I have to keep cutting it to keep it down. But in red hair, for years, like, I've always loved red hair. Red is my favorite. You see my chair, right? Red is my favorite color. Always has been. But I was so scared to wear red hair because of the church I used to go to, So I was trying to please other people, because they made me feel like if I wore red hair, then I was a Jezebel. But then finally one day I said, you know what? I'm going to wear my red hair. I'm going to do it, because that's what I want to do. And I was okay with it. I was okay with it. So I say these things because for me, there is nothing better than getting to know yourself. Like, there really is nothing better than getting to know yourself. And learning who I am, what I like and what I don't like is really quite interesting to me, because the things that I used to really like to do, it's just like, I don't want to do that. And I don't know why I thought I wanted to. I do know why, honestly. But I'm at a point now I don't. Like, no, I'm good. And I'm okay saying no. Like, I'm okay saying no. So when you get to that point, you got to be unapologetic about it too. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm good. And also too, being okay with not trying to prove that, I'm the smartest person in the room. And for me, that came from, because that came from some certain just the process, the filtering process that I told you guys about, that filtering process. That's something that I really struggled with. I'm getting better though. I'm getting a lot better with it. When you slow down and you start to get to really know yourself, you, again, I talked about this before, you become a responder instead of a reactor. So you take time and you think about it first. And when you think about it, you're able to actually go through the processes and think, okay, okay. See, I know why I feel that way. I know why I said that. And see, when I do that, I actually do that with God. So I have that conversation out loud with God. There's been times when my boys have walked in the room, my daughter too, when she was here. Um, they've walked in the room and I've been having a conversation and they've been a little confused because they've been like, "You on the phone?" Like, no, I'm not. I'm talking to God. Let me alone. Get on out of here. You know? And so it's just funny. It's really funny to me because, in the past I would always like, be very, very quiet and it's not that way no more for me. It's not that way no more. If I want to talk to God, I'm just going to talk to God. That's just the way it is now, unapologetically. So, you know, I guess now I'm just really talking, so I'm about to get off of here. But I've said before that, I make myself laugh, and that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me because I make myself laugh. And the thing is that you have to get to a point, you guys, where you laugh every day. Like, it is a requirement. If I go through a day and I have not laughed, I will deliberately find something to make me laugh. Make me laugh, 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 laugh. Do you know, I did some research and they actually have shown that laughter really alleviates stress. Laughter really calms you down, and laughter is good for the soul. It's good for the soul. So, what I would leave you with on today is go stand somewhere and laugh. Like, seriously, laugh, laugh, laugh. Once I get done with all my work and do everything that I need to do for the day, I will get on TikTok. Once I'm in my bed, I will get on TikTok. And you can change your algorithm on TikTok. So I get a lot of spiritual stuff on TikTok, but I also get comedy stuff. Because the thing is I was on. I don't know if you guys ever been on TikTok, and my kids got me on TikTok because I was actually on there being nosy, trying to see what they was doing, and then I end up liking TikTok. And I would get on TikTok and I'd be like, "Is that all they do on here? I don't want to see this." And so someone told me how to change my algorithm so I actually can find stuff that's actually educational, stuff that I actually want to hear, stuff I actually can learn, and stuff like that. And then also some comedy. So I get on TikTok. I get on TikTok before I go to sleep sometimes. I'll get on TikTok and there are some very funny people in this world. Some very funny people in this world. Just funny. Like, I'm serious. You guys, look, life is too short. You have to fight for your life. You have to fight to live. You have to fight to be happy. Like, seriously. I know I talked about, happiness, and your emotions and stuff, but who don't want to be happy? Like, find your happiness. Find your happiness. Don't let your happiness be snatched away just because something didn't go your way. find it. But in order to find it, I feel for me, I had to find that joy. I had to accept joy. I had to accept it. And now that I have joy, it's easier for me to obtain and maintain happiness, even when the skies are gray. Even when the skies are gray. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, you guys, I'm about to get off of here. Lord have mercy. I got books and notebooks everywhere. And I keep having this idea in my head that each notebook is going to have only certain things in it. And I disappoint myself every time. Every time. And so sometimes I want to take out the papers, but once you rip the papers out, it's a wrap. So anyways, pray for me, you guys. And I'm going to pray for you too. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.